Now, nearly 2 weeks since it began, the Nigerian football leadership crisis is showing no signs of easing off. In fact, the takeover of the Football Federation, led by government-backed Chris Giwa, has pushed the crisis to the edge of FIFA sanctions. The World Football Governing Body has warned Nigeria that it only recognizes Amaju Pinnick as the head of Nigerian football. CGTN's Kelechi Emekalam takes a closer look at why Nigeria could soon find itself in trouble with FIFA.
Early morning hours in the outskirts of the capital, Abuja. On a bare soccer pitch, dozens of Nigerian youths hone their footballing skills. They belong to Concept Soccer Academy. This is not an elite soccer academy found in all major cities across Nigeria. The academy targets disadvantaged youths unable to afford fee-paying soccer academies. The players here are from impoverished backgrounds, and this is all they do. The academy is their only hope to break into professional football, but they could become collateral damage should FIFA make good its threats.
It gives me sleepless night. I continue to pray, say, we have the player, we have the talents. Let the management see the best way to resolve this issue. This crisis, it doesn't got any person any good, especially the country, especially this youth. You see them here. If they're here, they will forget every bad thing. After playing this game here, after playing football here, they will go and rest. The following morning, you see them here. What will you think? They say the idle mind is the devil's workshop. If there's no competitive games for Nigeria, what do you think about the future of these children?
At least 3 players have graduated from this academy into professional football. They play for clubs in Qatar, South Africa, and Belarus. Their colleagues at the academy draw inspiration from their success, but a ban by FIFA could place a lid on the dreams of these players. What's more, keep Nigerian national team out of FIFA-recognized tournaments, and Nigerian professional players will not be able to sign transfers to new clubs for the entire duration of the ban. Even before the ban, the domestic professional league known as the NFPL has already taken a hit. It should have resumed on Wednesday, but it has been suspended on short notice. Its management cited the current difficulties in football administration, but the federation has a different explanation.
The 2 senior management officers of the league, and as a matter of fact, those who direct the leagues, have been asked to step aside. You should expect that there will be a little bit of this development, but it's understandable. Somebody will be moving in, and I'm sure in the next couple of days, there will be a development to that effect, and we'll return back to the league. What is important is that the league runs smoothly, and worthy champions emerge at the end of the day.
Giwa is serving an international ban after losing against Pinnick in an arbitration for sports. FIFA may not recognize him, but for now, he is firmly in office, while the deposed Amaju Pinnick is in court asking for the court order that removed him to be rescinded. Kelechi Emekalam, CGTN Abuja, Nigeria.
Well, the Nigerian football crisis is already being felt by hundreds of players and thousands of spectators of the domestic league who have missed football action for the last 4 days. The National League was due to resume on the 18th of July after the World Cup break. The league management company was ordered to halt administrative work by the Chris Giwa-led administration, leading to an indefinite break.
Especially for me, I've been out for 8 months, and now that I'm back, so the league is off. I don't know, so it's a very bad thing. And I hope the league resume on time so that we can get back to work.
Some of my players also have arrangements to go for trials with most of the Nigerian professional teams, and with this suspension now, all their plans have been put on hold. A lot of them are looking forward to this resumption, the league resumption, so that they will go for the trials and try to get a career for themselves. But they just sat in the office and decided they're going to suspend the league.
It's really going to be very bad, if the situation continues, because nobody will want to invest where he will not reap. Everybody wants to invest where he will reap, and if we have these challenges often, nobody will want to invest because it's business-wise, it's not looking good.
Right now, for more on this, we can now speak to Kunle Solaja, who is a football analyst and the editor-in-chief of the Sports Village Square, an online sports publication in Nigeria. He now joins us live from Lagos. Kunle, Nigeria once again finding itself in another football crossroads, the third such time since 2010. What exactly is going on?
Well, it has become a tradition now that at every World Cup, starting from even 2002, Nigeria Football Administration is always in crisis. 2002, that was when the secretariat was sacked, and then 2006, it was the president that was in a problem with the rest of the football stakeholders because Nigeria didn't qualify for World Cup. 2010, we qualified for the World Cup. What did we get? There was crisis immediately after the World Cup, leading to the removal of Alhaji Sani Lulu as the president of the Nigerian Football Federation. Now, 4 years ago, the same scenario repeated itself with Maigari being denied the opportunity of seeking a re-election, and in the process of making him not to get re-elected, the current problem now started, because the election that actually produced Giwa on August 26 in Chida Hotel was not supposed to be an electoral congress. It was supposed to be a congress that will draw a roadmap into the next election. As a matter of fact, after that congress of that August 26, there still have to be another congress before an elective congress. But because possibly government interest, as at that time, the other members of the Maigari group were denied access to the Congress Hall, and an election quickly took place, which FIFA did not recognize. And that is the foundation of the current problem we have now. And when they now try to do another election, or they did another election in Warri on September 30, 2014, that the winner of the August 26 election, which is Chris Giwa, went to court saying that his own election should be the valid one. And now, the issue now is so complicated. It's very simple, yet very complicated. The two parties involved have gone to court. Now, do we now take that to mean that the two parties have actually violated the FIFA rules, which says that no football matter should be taken to court? Because Giwa went to court, Pinnick also went to court to appeal the judgment of the Federal High Court in Jos. Now, and then Giwa too went to the Supreme Court to also appeal. Yeah. So because of that, everybody appears to have flouted that rule. That, yeah.
You've mentioned the government there. Where exactly is the middle ground in this crisis between the Nigerian government's desire to assert authority over football matters there and FIFA's control over global football?
Yeah. There are two conflicting laws now, the laws of the land and the laws that govern global football. Now, in every country is sovereign, and no country will want to have its own rule, its own law to be subjugated or to be dictated from outside. And that is where the problem now arises. Now, to me, the best way, the middle of the road approach to it is for the government to seek a political solution to the present crisis. By political solution, the two contending parties should be called to a round table and possibly let Giwa be unbanned by the NFF and let both Giwa and Pinnick be eligible for another election, which should be postponed till possibly 2019. And that way, we now have a 4-year tenure whereby the election will no longer coincide with the year of the FIFA World Cup. That way, the perennial problem that we always have at every FIFA World Cup will first of all be taken care of, and then secondly too, Now, the two contending parties will now be given a fair opportunity to test their might among the electorate, those who will be able to elect those who will now run Nigerian football. And in the interim, what can be done is for us to have an interim regime of possibly the secretariat running the association until an election is held, possibly in 2019.
All right, Kunle Solaja, thank you very much for speaking to us there. The editor-in-chief of the Sports Village Square and football analyst Kunle Solaja joining us live there from Lagos. Well, going on, the rival faction running the Nigeria Football Federation has dismissed fears of FIFA sanctions over the leadership crisis. CGTN's Kelechi Emekalam once again spoke to the side's spokesman, Victor Iroele, and she started by asking him about the last few days in charge of Nigerian football.
It's not been easy, you will agree with me. It's been a long, drawn battle since 2014 up to date, finally on the 27th of April, when he had the Supreme Court judgment and eventually got an enforcement order and stepped into office on July the 2nd. And ever since then, he's been trying to look at a few things here and there, trying to plug loopholes here and there. More importantly, there are a few national teams that were on ground that had some important matches to play. The Flying Eagles had to travel to Mauritania to play a qualifier, that's the final round playoff. And then you also have the Falconers, the under-20 female team that will be leaving for Austria for a training camp for 2 weeks ahead of the World Under-20 Female World Cup in France. So these are the things that have preoccupied him.
Now, the World Football Governing Body, FIFA, says it doesn't recognize the Giwa-led leadership of the NFF. And it has cautioned against authorities meddling in football affairs. Now, how far can the NFF leadership go, without the backing of FIFA?
For the Chris Giwa-led board, they believe they've not done anything to warrant the threat of FIFA ban, of FIFA to ban Nigeria. FIFA is a responsible organization, and they should know if there are two contending parties, worst case scenario, you can also approach, you can also hear from both parties. Ghana has used their court to sack the GFA. But regrettably, we have in our own case, Nigerians who think that our own laws should be undermined. The Supreme Court should not have a voice. These same people tomorrow, they'll have a case and they want to go to the Supreme Court and to argue their case.
The under-20 women are leaving for the World Cup organized by FIFA and supervised by them as well. Now, do you worry about whether they would be participating or not?
But there's no worry about that. The team should be leaving tonight for Austria to fine-tune final lap of their preparation for the World Cup. And they will leave Austria on the 2nd for Germany, for France, for the World Cup, which begins on the 5th of August through, I think, 25th or thereabouts. So the team has been in camp. We have no fears about any threat to that effect. Everything is going on fine.
Now, throughout all this, the Confederation of African Football has remained tight-lipped over the Nigerian football crisis, which now involves the federation's second-in-command. CGTN's Adel Mahrui explains why.
Amadjo Pinnick is the newly appointed first vice president of CAF, a member of the FIFA Council and the head of the organizing committee of the African Cup of Nations. These are global and continental positions earned by the virtue of being the president of the Nigerian Football Association. But the crisis in Nigeria has put these positions in jeopardy after he was removed from his position by the Nigerian courts. The football wrangle appears to be taking Nigeria to the Court of Arbitration for Sports if the football authorities do not intervene in time. But for CAF, it has found itself in another tight spot just over a month after Pinnick's predecessor at CAF was forced to resign over corruption allegations.
Definitely it will be a big blow to CAF, but in this case FIFA will immediately intervene. So CAF would not need to do anything, because FIFA will immediately intervene and suspend Nigeria, and at the end, because this happened in many other cases, at the end Nigeria will have to reinstate him.
CAF has established a tradition of silence on matters of governance, particularly when it touches its top leadership. Sources from the African organization tell CGTN that it is monitoring the developments closely, especially after FIFA expressly warned Nigeria of government interference in football.
I think it would be very difficult for them, even if they feel they need to take a stance, it will still be difficult because they can't enter in a conflict with FIFA in such matters, because for FIFA it's clear they have regulations must be respected. So for CAF they would not have a valid argument to enter against anyone, either against the National Federation in Nigeria or against FIFA. So it's very difficult for them to have a role in this specific case, because I believe they are not the relevant body to discuss that matter.
But these are extraordinary times for CAF under the leadership of Ahmed, who vowed more transparency and accountability in African football issues. So far, CAF has been calculatedly quiet, preferring to watch the developments as they unfold. How long before the situation gets sorted out in Nigeria remains unclear. But until then, CAF will find its silence loud, especially as Penique's appointment for the first vice president of CAF's seat is yet to be ratified by the executive committee. Adel Mahroui, CGTN, Cairo.